Hello there, Boots Owen here. This is a Hotpoint washing machine. It's an old single tub washing machine. It has a mangle but no spin. I bought it about 2 years ago. It's been featured in update videos for the last 2 years and I haven't got around to looking at it, but today is the day. I'm going to have a look at it. I'm not sure how far that's going to go. I suspect it's going to leak. The hoses in it are, I don't know, I'd say this machine's nearly 60 years old. That's a guess. Somebody out there in the comments will tell me about it, but if you know how old it is, do post it in the comments. We'll have a look around. I've got some literature inside. I've got some accessories for it. The mangle's in the cupboard down the front. It's a special model. It's like a deluxe model, the Empress, in that it's got a heater down here on the front. There's a heater element as well. Most of them, not most of them, other ones were cold. This one has mangle, heater, and a drain out pump, and an agitator as a washing machine. The noise in the background you can hear behind the camera, 2 other washing machines. I'm down in laundry land and the tumble dryer behind me will probably go on later on, so if there's no continuity in the video, that's just how it is. I've had a look at it a few weeks ago now. It's a different kind of engineering to modern washing machines, and by modern I mean 1990 on. This switch here, it's got real springs in it, like proper big clunky things, and we'll see what we can see before I turn it on. We'll have a look at the literature and we'll take a chance on it. It's also, I don't know if you can see that, it'll probably show up later, someone's painted it at some point in the past. The rubber rim here on the lid has perished. I think there was meant to be a cover that went on it as well. That's absent. And it's had an accessory fitted on the back, a homemade draining board fitted so that it could be run beside a sink with the mangle and it would drain out. It's pretty good like that. It was in the same family. I got it from an old boy down, I don't know, Lancashire, somewhere down that way, or maybe towards Merseyside. His mother bought it when they moved into a new house when it was new. They've had it forever. He had a spinner, a Hotpoint 1012 spinner. I've made videos about that before. The spinner works, but it leaked. This thing, it's got hoses in it. They're like the rubber hoses, they're rock solid, and I think anything might set them off if they don't leak already. So, if you're new to the channel, think about liking the video, think about subscribing, think about becoming a member of the channel. I don't know much about washing machines, but I make a lot of videos about them. So there's 2,000 other videos in my channel, all about all sorts of things about my life and washing machines and other appliances and repairing power tools and whatnot. Let's take a look at this Hotpoint Empress. So up on top you've got this kind of, I don't know, alloy seat. That's where the mangle sits in, and there's a kind of a keyway down in the bottom that locks in for some kind of a gearbox drive. The lid inside there is a tub. We'll have a look at that in a moment. So we pan down, Hotpoint name. This is a lever that engages the mangle, if I recall correctly. Here's the on-off button for agitate, and down here is the switch for temperature. It goes from off, where it is now, down at about 7 o'clock, all the way around to, on the right, boil, and there's a little red indicator neon. I can't remember if that works. Down below there's a cabinet, and the cabinet houses the mangle, which weighs a ton. I'm not sure if this mangle's original to this machine, because it's a creamy colour, so I suspect that this machine's been repaired quite a number of times. The rollers on the mangle are okay. In fact, they're pretty good. The top one, I think I can lift this up. Can I? Those are safety dealies. We'll have a look at it later, but I think it weighs a ton. The top roller is a bit flaky, but it's still quite soft. The bottom roller's in good nick, so it may well have been replaced or not, I don't know. And then you can latch that into position there and set it down. I don't know if that's for getting stuff caught. It's also a little bit grubby. This thing sits up here. I might as well lock it in position now, or sit it in position. It sits up on the back like that, and it has a number of places it can lock into for different angles, basically. But the idea is that, I think that's an on-off switch as well. No, that might be forward and reverse. So there's a gearbox in here too, I think. The idea is that you pull your laundry out as you go and mangle it, and it drips back into here. I think that's the idea. Whether or not we get round to that today, well, I think I've seen it working, so it should work. I'm a bit dubious about this whole thing now. Round on the back we've got the nameplate here. It's AEI Hotpoint Limited, 33 Grosvenor Place, London, SW something, I can't see. 702065. Does that mean it's made in... No, 702035. It's not going to mean it's made in 1935. British patent numbers 230/250 volts, 300 watts motor. It says heater and it's rubbed out, so the heater wattage is there. Probably 2,500 watts and cycles 50 hertz. There's also something else written here that's been eliminated over time. You can see it's got rust, it's got corrosion. It just is what it is. Up on the back here, there's a bit of aluminium fitted with 2 screws. The guy who sold it to me said his brother made that for the mother, that you can hook on a piece of aluminium. You'll see it inside when I have a look. It just makes a draining board, but it's just a little bracket to hold that on. Down here at the bottom, you've got the power cord. It's an old plug with proper solid brass pins. I'll unroll that now. It's pretty filthy, but it's just how it is. It's sat in a kitchen for a lot of years, I think. In here there's 1 screw missing, should be a screw there, but let's have a look inside this panel before we get going on it. And this is what I mean about dusty and dirty and whatnot. Let's have a think about this. So in here you've got a big motor. You've also got a pump unit on the end of the motor, and there's a lever handle here setting off into the distance. To use the pump, you have to open the door to the bottom cabinet and slide this pump in, and I think then it's a friction drive off this flywheel or off something else inside. There's a drain plug there on the bottom of the pump. This is the rubber hose that the sump drains into, and then the pump shoots it out. It's like a modern washing machine pump, except I think it's made out of aluminium or something. There's a rating plate or a sticker up on top of that motor there, but I might vacuum it later. To the right then, you've got a takeoff coming from the motor, and I'm guessing this is a gearbox, and I think it goes the whole way underneath to beneath the tub in here, and then there's a shaft going up to drive that mangle, and there must be a shaft to drive the agitator. There's a rubber bush here down below, and it's turned to jelly, so that motor's not sitting in a bush the way it was once meant to. That's an issue. There's also a lot of oily residue down there on the 3 cables coming into the motor. This is an earth. It's just a bare nickel plated earth. There's not much more to see down there really. I'm just hoping these hoses, you can see cracking in it. I'm hoping that it'll work, but like that should be easy enough to fix. So this hose here from the pump, you can't see that at all. So looking at these pump hoses, the one that goes out, there's some cracking in it here. It just goes to a hole in the side of the tub, and then you put in another hose from the tub outwards, which is its own design, and that's okay. But I'm reckoning this here looks like a 1 1/4 inch, 30 mil, something like that hose, and you could get a bit of flexi rubber, take off the hose clips and put it on. Likewise for this one, and access is quite easy. It's all in front of you. It's all obsolete, motors and whatnot, but it's all there. It also looks like there's a drain plug on that pump, but I don't really want to get into any of it. I just want to see if it works. I was shown it working in the guy's house with no water, so let's have a look inside the top of it then. So let's do the big reveal. Here's the lid. Let's set that aside. It's an enamel. It's all enamel actually, but here it's gone a bit rusty. This is from use, you know, it's not from being idle. I think it got used. So here's the aluminium draining board. It slots into the back there. Whether or not that actually does anything, I don't know. You can see the paint over on the back here. So I've got some literature here we'll have a look at. All about washing, so that's a kind of a manual about laundry. And here's how to use your Hotpoint Empress washing machine. So let's take a look at this. Maybe I'll feature the other one in a different video. How to use your Hotpoint Empress washing machine. Installing. Your supplier should install your Hotpoint washing machine and ensure that the voltage is right and it's got the right size plug, properly earthed. So here's some notes about this mangle. Reversible wringer control, wringer position latch, water drain tray, roller pressure lever, wringer release bar, slotted roller guard, loose nylon bearing, mottled roller. So the top roller is different, and 9 is removable plain roller. So over here then in this lower image we've got 1 where the mangle fits in, or the wringer. 2 is the gyrator control, that's your agitator in the bottom, and 3 is the agitator. They call it a gyrator, I call it an agitator. 4 is your motor controls, green on, red off, fairly self-explanatory really. 5 is heater control, and 6 is pilot light. on heated machine only. So there's a thermostat in it as well, it says. Another thing to fail as far as I'm concerned. 7 and 8. 7, ringer storage cupboard. 8, pump lever. 9, pump outlet. So that's on the inside of the drum. It's in there. Or the tub, I suppose you'd call it, rather than a drum. Cable storage brackets on the back and hole for power storage plug. 10 and 11. Before using the machine for the first time, please identify the various parts and controls by reference to the diagrams. Please read the working instructions and other information given in the Hotpoint Home Center washing book. I guess that's this red fellow. If you have any questions, ask your supplier to arrange a demonstration. I would love for them to come out. That would be wonderful. Whoa, we've got a loose page here, and my fingers aren't that clean anymore. Important. It's essential that the breather screw be removed from the panel behind the back. It prevents oil leakage during transit. And if you move to another address, it'll have to be refitted. So keep the screw with its label in a safe place. That's missing. Or it's in the thing, so I better have a look at that breather screw. So briefly then, you fill it from a hose beside the sink. And that's about it. We could have a look at that in another video. I'm not going to go through that right here. All about washing. Some nice pictures of the past. How to choose a washing machine. An interesting graphical representation of a lady and a washing machine. A different washing machine in this case, because it doesn't have the heater control or the cupboard. But I wonder, does this one have the range? I think I saw somewhere that there is a range of washing machines. Let's see. I don't know. Yeah, here we go. The Hotpoint Countess, the Hotpoint Empress, or Empress, and the Hotpoint Princess, and a Hotpoint table ironer down there on the bottom. That's how I knew that this was the deluxe model. So they clearly ponied up for the deluxe. This is a hose that I've bunged in there, hoping that rubber will fit into that hole, which it kinda does. It doesn't really. Not quite right. And then this fellow is the old hose, the old drain out hose, which as you can see, has completely perished. If you squeeze it at all, it cracks. It has been taped together in the past more than once, and it has a rubber suction cup on here that's failed as well. Does it fit in the hole? It kind of does, actually. Yeah, it kind of does, but as I touch it at all, it's starting to fall apart. So I don't really want to interact with that hose much more. We'll figure out the draining in due course. Now, there's a lot of crumbs in here that weren't here before. Wonder what they're from. Insects. This guy lifts out. That's your agitator. Your paddle. What was it called? I can't remember now. It's just a solid piece of some kind of plastic. So when we look into the machine, you've got a little sieve here, a little filter, or something like a strainer. You've got a massive element in a really quite interesting design, and then you've got a big square shafted fellow here on top, which has quite a good degree of play in it, and a huge nut here. I don't want to take any of this fellow apart. And an enamel tub here. I presume this is the thermostat here, or the thermostat thermocouple going out this way. 3 stainless steel, what look like M8 bolts. I think this machine has been serviced way more than once. Oh, should I try putting water into it? Let's vacuum it out and see about putting some water into it. In fact, before I put water anywhere near it, let's plug it in. So, let's begin. Is it off? I hope so. We're live. So let's begin by starting this agitator motor. Nothing. Okay, we're not winning there. Let's try the heater. This isn't going well. Now, you shouldn't really turn on the heater without the... I don't see an indicator light coming on, so I'm hoping there might have a fuse issue. I've got my hand on the element inside. If I could feel a bit of heat, I would turn it off, but I'm not feeling anything yet, and an element normally kicks in quite rapid. So I'm wondering if we've just got a fuse out. So in a typical case of I don't know what I did, but I seem to have fixed it, I checked everything for continuity, and that seemed to convince it to work. Don't know if you can see here. The square shaft on top there is agitating. So I wonder if it's something to do with the socket, because everything, continuity on the machine end was just fine. let's have a look down here. You'll be able to see it, but I won't. I'll turn on that pump and see what happens. I'll lift the lever or drop the lever. I think you drop the lever. Sounds good. Now if that's working, what I'm going to do is try the heater. Oh, the other thing I can see, you can't see it, but I'll show you. If you look down in there, it looks particularly lumpy and clunky down there, but it is turning. The lever doesn't seem to have any bearing on whether or not that's turning. So maybe I was mistaken. The thing in the back for the mangle, the ringer, is turning the whole time, but this guy here isn't turning right now until I lift this, and now it is. So let's stop that. Noises. Let's turn on the heater. Yep, the lights come on. And very quickly I should feel that. Yep, there's heat in that instantly, so I'll just turn it off rather than interfere with it, because an element is an element. So the element inside seems to be working. I don't know what was the problem there. Maybe I just hadn't plugged it in right, or something silly like that. I think you might benefit from a moment on wobbly cam here to have a look underneath at this gearbox. So up here, there's the lever for the pump. There's this pile of crumbs here. See them in there? Looks like clay, but it's disintegrated something, probably seal, something like that, falling down from that main shaft that goes up. So I'm hoping it doesn't leak. I didn't see it before with water in it. In the back there's this dead looking donut. That seems to be the rubber that would have been like a soft edge on that plug access hole. You can see other crumbs in the bottom. It's not clean, but it's okay. There's another bushing there. There's another rubber bush there that looks a bit collapsed. I'm sure it's all quite possible to take it apart, but I don't really want to. I don't know what was wrong there. The other thing that I noticed when I was looking at it, in that black hemispherical bulb, there's a thermostat. So the thermostat is there. It's not up on top, as I said before. And then over here in the back, you've got a couple of connector blocks. One coming in and one going to the motor. And they're just apparently live neutral earth. So I'll have to cover them up again later. So I've got a rubber hose going from my tap to the drum here. And I'm going to put some water in. There we go. Not very much, just enough to maybe fill that divot there, and hopefully it won't leak. Let's see how that goes. Oh, it's got a leak. It's dripping from somewhere. Okay, that was expected. But not, it's just a drip, so let's try and figure this out. So I don't know if you can see, it's dripping into my drum there, into my bucket. It looks like it's coming from the back. So if you can see there, it's dripping from that hose where the wastewater drips down to the pump, or goes down to the pump. That's not insurmountable. I'm not going to worry about it. I'm just going to leave the bucket underneath. I will go for a load with a drip. So then, Empress, let's put this guy back in. And twist it and it should sit down onto the thing like that. Okay. Plug me in. I don't want to put in too much water because I can see it all going wrong. Let's turn this on. Oh, we're off again. Just when you think you were recording. I've got it filled up with water. It's working again. There was some issue with the cable, the flex. I don't know what it was. So let's turn off the agitation by dropping that. And then it jumps on again. Pretty good. Oh, it doesn't like that. The power's gone off in the house because of that element. Let's turn the power back on. Power went off. Something with the element and water doesn't like that. Let's try it one more time. No, it really doesn't like it. There's something dodgy about that element. That's okay. We'll turn the power back on again. So it's tripping the RCD. probably way too much. It immediately gets quiet with the bubbles. Look at that. It smells nice. It's quite good like that. You could leave it and go off and do something else. There's something very satisfying about this. It does let out some splashes, but it seems quite subdued. It's a shame about the element, but it kind of is what it is. I've had a look below. It's not leaking too badly. It's just that constant drip. So then, let's get a hose pipe and bung it in here and see if I can get it to drain out. So let's turn that off. Let's push this in here. There's a lot of scale actually in that. I don't know if this is going to work. There's a lot of scale in that pipe there. Well, what we can do is I could try it first. We'll see if it shoots out this hole. That'll tell us if it's working. Yeah. That's it. You just drain it out like this. It's not bad actually. It's just working. Of course, all the water you put in, you've got to take out. So it's stopping there. So let's turn that pump off.
What is that?
And then let's put in more water again. So we have to get these bubbles out. It's going to take a few rinses, I imagine. You lift that handle up there. It's a washing machine. You see in it?
Yeah. Ah, it's raining.
It's a very old washing machine.
No. You're just checking that.
There's too many bubbles in it.
Yeah, they're floating around. Water is turning into bubbles.
Oops, splash.
Oh, not on my toe. You don't want to go down into that.
Okay, there are far too many bubbles in here.
Yeah. I think it needs to clean out.
Yeah. Okay, can you open that door down there?
Yeah.
Down. Yeah. Now, you see up here there's a handle. You push that down. No, not that, not that. Yeah, pull that handle down. That's it. That turns on the pump.
Close the door now.
If you want.
It didn't work. Oh, it's gone down.
I think the pipes are blocked. Okay, can you click the handle up now, please? Take out this laundry.
Can I turn it off?
Yeah. It's never going to get these soaps out. Don't scrape them out like this.
You're going to get soapy hands. You need to wash your hands.
So at this point, maybe it's clear that I've kind of abandoned the function of the machine. It's too slow for a person who's used to automatic washing machines. I'll try and get this out now and put a bit more water in to rinse it off. And try and get the suds out. How people ever dealt with these things, I will not know. I guess if you're coming from a washboard, it's all progress. The big stone sink here to my right, your left, it has a recess here and on the opposite side for setting a washboard or a draining board into the stone. Like the washboard would just be wood with a glass or metal plate on it. You have to do your own hand agitation. Right, I've got most of the bubbles out now. This is a bit silly. I think the pipes to that, or the manifold there, where the water's coming out, I think it's a bit corroded. So let's do this pumping action one more time. of it now. Oh, nope, it's off again. There's little crumbs coming up. There's little crumbs coming up through it. So then, let's get this over here for a minute. Let's give this stuff here a rinse, because I'm not doing that in the machine. It takes too long. What I want to check is about that mangle. So then, let's try out this little thing. So you'd have to be pretty strong to run one of these fellows. Oh, the machine's wandering away on me. Now this should go down into the hole. There we go. That should locate somehow. Doesn't really want to. That should lock into a hole. So that looks like it's sitting like that. There it is. That's it in now. I had to engage. There's a T-slot in the shaft, and there's a kind of like a screwdriver, like a flat-bladed screwdriver. So let's fire it up again. So now the rollers are rolling. They're a bit filthy, actually. Let's give the whole thing a wipe. Maybe they're not. Maybe they're just exposed. So let's turn this over. That's off. It's neutral. It's rolling that way. Which way do you want to do it, actually? Do you want to roll back in here? Guess we'll find out. Uh-oh. That's not how you do it. It's just rolling onto itself. So I've managed to roll it up on itself. Try it again. It is working. There we go. And the water is flowing down, I presume, into the drum, although I can't see where it's going. I don't know. Is that a safety thing? You can see your fingers going through this. Let's put the big one through it. Quite satisfying. It's not downright. There we go, that's it. So if you push that, it can lift up kind of quickly, I guess. So push that down and that's it locked. Right. There we go. Never used one of these before. Don't know where the water's going. Oh, it is dripping. It's dripping onto my... It's dripping out this side now, through that little plastic thing. Little aluminium thing even. Let's fold it in half and try and... There we go, it's coming out alright. I'll show you where it's dripping. That's kind of it. It is ringing it, but it's not as good as a spin dryer, that's for sure. You can see your fingers getting nipped in this fellow. Still pulling water out of it. There we go. I don't see any more coming out of it, so I'm guessing that's it. Let's turn that off. So you have the option for this fellow of, there's a little release guy there. I don't know what that is actually. I think I did look at this before. remember. Just turn it off. So this does lift up, and then you can swing it out to do it over a sink to the side. You can swing it out and it'll engage properly. I can't show you right. Well, I could. If you swing it out like that, then you can do your laundry over your sink to the side. Your wringing. Right. So then, Hotpoint Empress, what do you think? What do you think of that? If you're coming from nothing, you've got something. If you're coming from an automatic washing machine, you'd really want to love this. I cannot imagine doing laundry this way. The fact that the element's broken is kind of neither here nor there, because you could put hot water into it from a kettle. I think that's what people did. But you're giving yourself over to being tied to this machine for the time it's on. You could walk away and let it agitate for a while, 30 minutes or whatever you'd let your normal washing machine do. But that's crazy. It's good. It's kind of cool that it works. I think I'm at the same conclusion I was at when I bought it, that it's kind of not worth fixing. It's too rusty. You see all that rust around Hotpoint? It's been badly painted. Well, it was probably well painted, but it's all rubbed off. I'd say the top was always enamel, and that was always painted. You've got your rust around the back there. You've got corrosion in the pipes. You've got almost a 1/4 inch of slop in that agitator. It's an artifact of the past, but it's not something I would use every day. I don't know what to do about the heater. It is what it is. I'll probably just leave it and put a note on it, or this video will be that note. And all those crumbs inside, really that gearbox is probably well worn out. If this was somebody's main machine for the best part of 30 or 40 years, there you go. Could have been used up until 2000, They didn't have an automatic washing machine in the house. So what do you think? Tell me about your experiences with these old machines, memories of the past, and what I should do with it. Tell me in the comments below. Thanks for watching. A like and subscribe and all that would be appreciated. Become a member of the channel if you haven't already. Thanks for watching. See you later.